Hey, Steve, I got your message. Thank you.
No problem.
Mayor, do you want me to preside?
Yes, please, Jack. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Welcome to the January 20th meeting of the School Building Committee. And first order of business is always to establish a quorum. So Jeremy, do your thing.
All right, Dave,
Here.
Jason,
Here.
Lori, Jackie,
Here.
Jerry,
Here.
Kelly,
Here.
Bill,
Here.
Terry,
Here.
Scott. Yeah, I don't see Scott. Okay, Ed. Here. Mark. I don't see Mark. Rob.
Here.
Steve. Mike. Andrew.
Here.
Gail.
Hundreds of thousands of guests.
Jack.
Here.
And Mayor.
Here.
All right, we have quorum.
Hey, Jeremy, I think Mark's on the way. I just hung up with him, but I think we were both driving to our respective locations. So I expect him at some point soon.
All right, thanks, Bill.
Okay, we do have a quorum. The first order or next order of business would be, unless anyone has an objection, to take the approval of the minutes from December 16th and January 6th. Jackie?
Move to approve.
Terry?
Second.
Thank you. Jeremy?
All right, Dave,
Yes.
Jason,
Yes.
Jackie,
Yes.
Jerry,
Yes.
Kelly,
Yes.
Bill,
Yes.
Terry,
Yes.
Ed,
Yes.
Rob,
Yes.
Andrew,
Yes.
Jack,
Yes,
and Mayor.
Yes.
unanimous. Okay, so I think the next thing to do is to ask Steve Johnson to take it away.
Sure.
Is My Way, a song whose narrator harks a few regrets, but then again, too few to mention.
So we have some good progress in the field. We have almost all of the roof on. There are two sections of roof that we're buttoning up. This low roof over here on this side of the building, and then its partner over here on the right-hand side. Other than that, all the other roofs, the main fields of the roof are on. So in the next couple of weeks, we're going to have these two sections of roof done, which is a big milestone for us to have that much of the roofing installed. And then the roofer will need to stay on site. There's a lot of metal trim and other work that needs to be done around the edges, but the field being done and this far along helps us get that much more weather tight on the interior of the building. You'll also notice that we've got,
Mr. Trump also ordered the
we zoom in here. We've got some storefront windows in on this side where a lot of the brick is also completed. All along here, we've got storefront windows. And then the masonry continues.
As she so often toiled in the sun.
We're on this section.
I wasn't saying it in those words, but I'm like,
We're getting,
Yeah,
Yeah,
there's
hold on a
feedback.
second.
somebody's got to mute.
Jim, can you mute people?
Sounds like a TV that's on. So the mason continues to work over on this side. I'll actually switch the view. It might be more helpful if we see it from here. Get around a little bit so you can see that more of the masonry, more of the bricks been installed on this elevation here.
Yeah,
Kind of hidden from view. And then the mason has
no, we don't. But if you need us to toot our horn,
Thank you.
Scott,
we've got masonry starting on the front elevation of the building. That's scaffolding that the mason is using. So this section, this face will start to take shape over the next couple of months. Other than that, on the outside, it's kind of business as usual where there's not a permanent window. There's a temporary window that's allowing us to temporarily heat the building. This is our temporary heat on the east side of the building here. And we have poured almost all of the interior slabs on grade, which again is another pretty big milestone for us. The last section I'll pull up here. So what you see in this picture that once it pops up, everything that's yellow here that has this barrier down was poured this week. So this was the last section of slab on grade concrete that we were going to pour at this part of the project. We've left some area open here just to allow access into the auditorium. The auditorium is the other slab on grade that we did not pour, and that was intentional. Eventually, the permanent feature in the auditorium is it's a sloped section of concrete, and we're keeping it level right now because it's allowing us to do all kinds of other work in here. So that'll be one of the last things we do is dig that out, slope it, and pour that concrete. And then leaving this concrete section out here allows us just easy access with vehicles, so we don't trash and ruin a good concrete slab. So it'll allow us to get to the gym on that side and then over here into the auditorium. Within the auditorium itself, we have the catwalks have been 100% installed, which is a good chunk of work to have done in place. Up on the 4th floor, exciting to us construction nerds is that we have drywall actually installed in a room, in several rooms actually. So it's actually starting to take shape. No longer frames to walk through and walk around. A lot of drywall being done, which is great. Our favorite noise to hear at a job site is screw guns. So a lot of that work is taking place now on the 4th floor. And then this is still more the 4th floor. It shows one side of, eventually one loads. Come on. We've got a lot of the interior drywall done in some of the rooms. You can kind of see here. This is the room side. We're looking in the corridor side here. So a lot of drywall in place, and then we've actually worked down to the 1st level and have a lot of framing done on the 1st level. And a lot of the MEPs have made their way all the way down to the 1st level as well. So good progress down there. Show you that in a second. So good progress all around. Things are moving forward. Lots of framing. This is the 1st floor C building here, already with a lot of the framing, a lot of the duct work above installed and already starting to be insulated. A lot of the plumbing and sprinkler pipe as well. So we're humming along. We are on schedule. The next, next couple of months, you'll see a lot of masonry working its way around the building, and then followed by permanent windows, whether it's a storefront or curtain wall. That'll be the bulk of the activity. Then, within the building, we're just working our way from the 4th floor down. Then we'll also start to see some activity in the main mechanical rooms, which again is boring for everyone except for the mechanical people. But it actually is good progress, and it's a lot of work for us to get going on. It's just not the most exciting stuff to show in a picture, and it doesn't change much from day to day. But that's good progress for us. And then other than that, I believe last meeting, on the 6th, we voted on the substantial completion of the turf field. So not much has changed there. We are picking away at the punch list items there, trying to reduce those down to 0. And we'll get KBA out there to inspect it once we reach that point. But again, you won't see much activity here at all. You won't see a lot of change, except our temporary fence has been taken down. So what you see here is all permanent fence, and there are locks on all the gates. So it is secure and ready to go. Any other questions? This is actually a pretty good view. Backside, just to show more masonry working its way around. This is the future loading dock right here.
So Steve, when will the building be fully enclosed?
Like with permanent windows and glass, Jack?
Well, how about with temporary and then permanent?
So temporary, the ABC building is already there. These other buildings, it'll be some time, and quite honestly, we probably won't temporarily enclose some of these sections because the cost to temporarily enclose it doesn't make it feasible, doesn't make it worth it, because we're not going to be able to throw crews out there to put any additional work in place. So it'll be a few months before permanent work is started back here in the south section and then have it fully enclosed. But we do have enough work in all areas of the building to keep us going very steady right through the winter.
Okay, if you can switch back so we can see 99 and 100 Rome Boulevard.
Sure.
I just want to update the committee that the plan to discontinue a portion of the street, the grassy areas that we've just planted, and then eventually give those to the homeowners has been prepared. And Sammy Otis, the engineer, is preparing the application, which we would then file with the municipal council, asking them to abandon that portion of the right-of-way that we no longer need and that we would like our neighbors to mow. So just to let you all know that. Those are my questions. Anybody on the committee have any questions of Steve? I guess you're all just sitting here in awe. Steve, I think I guess the next thing to do would be to move on to the change proposal logs, the transfers and change order number 4.
Yeah, so seeking approval of change order 4, which includes 5 different change requests, GCRs. The first GCR 16, GCR 016 was for RFI 399, additional steel supports at folding glass partitions. So this is just due to the weight of the partitions, some additional steel was required. That's $32,205.16. GCR 019 was some shop drawing revisions due for casework and some casework millwork revisions that resulted in a credit of $9,228.91. GCR 020, Stair H12 revisions. This was a stair, the slope was changed over at the weight room area. That is $2,972.19. GCR 023, catch basin number 41 revisions. This was the change in pipe and catch basin to ductile iron, $8,403.07. And then finally, GCR 031 was to add some snow guards at the auditorium roof where that is sloped just to be able to catch snow if it gets too heavy. That is $28,057.29. Total change order number 4 is $62,408.80.
Can you swing us over and show us where those snow guards are going, Steve?
Absolutely. I'm gonna have to change my view.
And while you're doing that, the change to ductile iron, was that a plumbing code requirement?
That was not a code requirement. Joe, do you recall? Joe or Craig, do you guys recall?
I could get my mute button off. I do not. I defer to Craig to discuss that.
And now we can see, Steve, if you put your cursor
Yep.
up, the sloped
Zoom in a little
roof,
bit.
the sloped roof there of the auditorium, we were concerned that snow would come down there and then pile up against the window frames there for the cafeteria. And so it seemed like a valid idea to put the snow guards in there to keep the snow from sliding down the slippery roof, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, it's actually a snow fence,
Okay.
right? Continuous bar.
And then Craig, can you address the ductile iron issue or not?
I am currently doing some research and development to remind myself, and I can report back in a little bit.
Okay. We can certainly ask you for that. So I guess, does anybody have any other questions about those 5 change orders? Then Steve, do you want to talk about item 3A, B, C, and D?
Sure. Yep.
While we're waiting for Craig?
Yes. So these are contingency transfers. Again, these do not increase the GMP at all. It's just a transfer of money. There are 4 that we're seeking approval of. GCT 009 was to cut and patch the decking for the hydromobile access. So in these 2 sections here where the mason worked, the type of scaffolding that they used went through the metal decking down to solid ground. And then once they removed the scaffolding, it had to be patched back into place and welded back into place. So that work was completed by our structural steel sub. That is $1,572.23. That was done on time and materials and tracked by Consigli and Skanska. GCT 10, VFD installation and mounting. This was a scope gap, quite honestly. When the work was bought out, nobody owned actually physically mounting the VFDs onto the wall. So we had to buy that out with the electrician. It made sense for them because they were going to be wiring it anyways. So that is $22,565.53.
Steve, for those of us who don't exactly remember what I think of variable frequency drive, but what is it driving?
It's, you had to ask that question, huh, Jack?
Is this a Craig question or a Joe question?
Yeah, it's I'll be honest, I forget what they are connecting to in this particular case.
But they're some sort of motors, correct?
It's part of the mechanical system that allows the units to work more efficiently and conserve energy.
Okay,
So,
so it's part of the building management system?
It's actually it's a physical piece of equipment that is part of the distribution air system.
Okay,
We have those in the wastewater treatment plant, a VFD, and basically it changes the amount of energy output, if I remember it right. That way, something mechanical can change its speed. That's my understanding of it.
That's right.
yeah, so the drives don't operate at just one speed, they vary based on the needs, correct?
That's my understanding.
Which is an energy saving measure.
Yes, that's my understanding, but that's about the most I understand about it.
Yeah, so,
Okay.
sorry, Jack, I thought you were asking specifically what they were connecting to. My bad.
No, we're just want to make sure that there's full transparency here and that we all understand what we're talking about.
Got it.
Go ahead, Steve.
Yep. So GCT 12, window testing support. So a third-party testing agency is hired to come out and test various points of the building, various window types, whether it's curtain wall, whether it's storefront, and there's some support that's needed by them. There's a little chamber that's built and some carpentry that's required that no one really owned. So we bought that out for $8,703, and that's for all the testing on the project for Windows. And then GCT 13 is to seal spray fireproofing in the elevator machine rooms. This is something that, depending on your elevator inspector and or potentially the kind of mood he's in, on some projects, sometimes when we walk into the elevator machine room, when they walk in there, they don't like to see spray fireproofing. Some of them because they feel like it dries and it flakes off and it could get into the equipment. So the options are to put a sealer on it or to enclose it with drywall and framing. Drywall and framing is expensive. So we thought just sealing it, not taking the chance that the inspector wouldn't like it. So we're going to seal it. And that is $1,907 to do that. So that's 3 elevator machine rooms that'll get sealed.
And these are all coming out of our contingency on the project, correct?
Correct. So it's just a transfer of money.
And Craig, have you figured out the previous question or?
I have. So the originally the piping was reinforced concrete piping. When they were doing the catch basin, the invert did not work, and so to accommodate the invert, they changed to ductile iron, which allows a different slope. And that was the result of the change, was to change the material to be able to change the slope of the pipe.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
So therefore, unless anybody has any questions, we could take a roll call vote, and I'd like to save time, suggest that all of the items in change order 4 and all of the contingency transfers be taken as one vote, unless anyone has an objection to that. Hearing none. Jackie, a motion's in order?
So moved.
And Terry?
Second.
Thank you. Jeremy?
All right, Dave,
Yes.
Jason,
Yes.
Jackie,
Yes.
Jerry,
Yes.
thank you. Kelly,
Yes.
Bill,
Yes.
Terry,
Yes.
Ed? Yes. And I think I saw Mark join. Mark?
Yes.
Rob?
Yes.
Andrew?
Yes.
Jack?
Yes.
And Paul?
Yes.
All right.
Motion passes unanimously. Steve, is there anything else that you want to update us on?
Yes, we actually have some additional change requests that are being vetted out that are on the log.
Okay.
Some new ones from last month.
So please tell us about those.
Yes, so we start at GCR number 28. GCR 28 is H11 stair revisions per submittal review. So after going through the shop drawing phase, it was determined that some additional supports were required for the stair. This is the stair that's in the gymnasium that leads up to the weight room and other areas right at the end of the gym. So it's either one column or two columns. I think we're landing on one column, one additional column that's going to be required there. So that's being vetted out, not at a final number yet. Item 29, interior finish revisions. So change some carpet, some flooring types. For the LVT was the luxury vinyl tile to carpet in the teacher planning areas. Again, that's being vetted out with our two different flooring subs. GCR 30, duct smoke revisions. So through the coordination process, it was determined that the smoke, duct smokes would have to move from within the curbs on the large units on the roof to inside the ductwork, and that actually a few more were added to the project. I don't think that number, I don't think it's going to come in at that number, but that's still being vetted out and priced up. Item 31, we just spoke about, that's the snow guards. Item 33, miscellaneous fencing revisions. The majority of this was the utility yard where the generator was made smaller, so there's just less fence to work with, less fence required. And then there were some adjustments to some gate stops along the way.
And that'll be a credit, Steve?
Yes, that'll end up at a credit. It's just not, it's being vetted out. We believe that is the correct number. We're just finalizing a few things there. Item 34, soffit revisions at 3rd to 4th floor stairs. It's just determined that mechanicals and the soffit right at the bottom of the stairs was a little too low for comfort. So reworked the framing and the duct work to a new location. Item 35, added power requirements for the heat trace. So additional power was required for the controllers that are attached to the heat trace. So the electrician needed to bring some more power to some additional controllers there. Item 36, cafeteria duct damper revisions. So this was high roof of the cafeteria, just coordinating around the steel trusses. Item 37, central office layout revisions. So I believe a couple offices are changing shape and sizes. We're going from 2 offices to 1, tweaking some power and data arrangements, but that is leaning towards a no-cost change to get that work done, and we caught it in time before any work was in place. And then item 38, HVAC pressure sensors. This actually came in, we're pretty sure it's no cost, but that just clarified the locations of the sensors in various parts of the building. So didn't change the number of them, it just clarified exactly where they need to go. So that's going to come in at no cost. So big picture wise, the number is around 348,000. It'll be a little under that when we're all said and done with this group of changes. But just for perspective, we're over 35% done with the project. And not that we want to spend all the change order money, but just as a point of how we're trending, if every single dollar here of the 348 becomes a change order, that's 16% of the money that was set aside for changes. So we're trending below the total amount set aside for changes, which is a good thing. So to be 35-40% through construction and only have 16% changes is actually a good trend. It's a good indicator of the design and the construction and how everything's going out there. And if you don't believe me, Mary Ann and KBA will chime in as well.
Okay. Does anybody have any questions on those? Hearing none, the allowance log, is that where we're going next?
Yep. So allowances, we've hit a handful A lot of them related to either winter concrete or winter conditions in general. We have spent a few of them, but we have not overrun any of them. Well, that's a little bit of a lie. We did overrun a couple, but we also had a couple other allowances where we went under. So we were able to just transfer funds between allowances so that nothing is resulting in a change order that is on this log here. You'll see that some in column E in the far right are down to 0. But again, we're not in danger of going over because of the savings in other places. The ones we hit each month, each day, almost are cleanup, temp power, dumpsters, that is all trending in the direction that we thought it would. And then we're done with winter concrete. So after this month, we'll be able to add up and kind of finalize the winter concrete costs and be done with that for the project. And then everything else is either scopes of work that haven't started yet or just allowances that we haven't had to tap into yet. So again, big picture overall, trending in the right direction. Nothing is scaring us at all.
And we are on time and on budget, correct?
Yes, 100%.
The single most important phrase in any job.
Yes.
Anybody have any questions on the allowance log? Hearing none. Anything else that you have, Steve?
No, I am done talking.
Okay. I assume no one has any other questions for Steve. Then we can move on to Skanska. Who's going to address us, Anjanette or Mary Ann?
Anjanette. Yep, I can address the invoices that are being submitted for approval. And
Okay.
if you want, I can try to share my screen, see if that works.
Sure. So we on our list of invoices, we have one for Castle Booze for $113,265. And you're recommending that?
That is correct.
And Consigli, $5,126,360.45.
That is correct.
And is Briggs you or is that Jeremy?
So Skanska reviews that to check the daily logs that everyone who Briggs bills us for is on site. So Skanska checks that, sends it to me, and I confirm that Skanska has approved it, and then I put it on this log for you.
Okay, that's $10,586.50. And finally, $18.01 for FedEx. I'm guessing that's you, Jeremy.
Yeah, that's us sending the paper to MSBA every month.
And then Skanska has
That's
a bill.
a typo. That should be 143,325. There's an additional 1 in there, so the total's wrong as well. But so that total for Skanska that I'll ask the commission to certify is $143,325.
They'd be very happy if there was an extra million, wouldn't they?
They would.
Okay. So now we can see you've shared your screen, Anjanette, so please give us the monthly recap.
Okay, so with the invoices received for the month of December, the total is the $5,670,121, and then with an additional $11,525 being billed out for some of the change orders. The total values to date, invoice to date for the project are the $98,699,446 plus the $24,040 for the change orders that are below the line, and then that gives us a remaining balance of the $157,970,642, and it brings us right in around 38% complete for the entire project. And then next month, what I'll do is I will add to the bottom of the change order here, the next one that we've just approved, change order number 4. So those values will start calculating down at the bottom as well.
Okay. Anybody have any questions on the budget recap? Hearing none. Anjanette, do you want to talk to us about the move management services contract?
Sure. Actually, I have a copy right here, conveniently. So we had presented last month our recommendation for Move Management Services to award the contract to STV DPM. And so what they've done is they've sent over their agreement with an addendum that identifies all of the terms of the contract. I have had them break all the values out by year and value so that when they bill us, we can just bill directly against those numbers. So I have reviewed it. Jeremy's reviewed it. I believe Jeremy sent it through all of the proper channels at City Hall. And our final copy was sent over this morning. It was signed by James Cole at STV DPM, and we would, we would make a recommendation that the city signs the contract and executes it so that we can have our kickoff meeting next week.
It's amazing how time is flying because I guess the move is about 1.5 years away now, right?
That's correct, but the planning starts next week.
And I noticed Mike Pagliuca there. Mike is Evan Warner's assistant on our library project, so we have some familiarity with him. Does anybody have any questions on the Move Management contract? Hearing none, a motion would be in order to recommend to the mayor that he execute the Move Management contract with STV DPM as presented this evening. Jackie?
So moved.
Terry?
Second.
Is there any discussion? Jeremy?
All right, Dave,
Yes.
Jason,
Yes.
Jackie,
Yes.
Jerry,
Yes.
Kelly,
Yes.
Bill. Do we still have Bill? There's conferences tonight, Bill left. Terry,
Yes.
Ed,
Yes.
Mark,
Yes.
Rob,
Yes.
Andrew,
Yes.
Jack,
Yes?
and Mayor.
Did you get it,
Yes.
Scott?
Oh, I missed Scott. I'm sorry, Scott.
I'm a yes.
Yes, thank you.
Okay, that's unanimous as well. So Anjanette or Mary Ann, do you have anything to add to our meeting this evening?
Yes, I'd just like to say I'm very pleased from my perspective about how the project is going. We, again, have full engagement from the design team and from Consigli. I think people are working very well together. The quality continues to be top notch. I think this team has done a really good job of problem solving together. There's always challenges with projects and, taking a design and then coordinating the construction and how all the pieces fit together. So, I'd like to commend the team. I think we have a solid effort going on here, and I look forward to us making a strong finish.
Thank you. Craig, do you have anything you want to add tonight?
No, just to also align with Mary Ann. I recently was asked to provide a answer a survey from Consigli as far as quality control, all those items. And I think my only complaint was that there hasn't been a reserved architect's parking sign on the site yet.
For those of you who don't know, that's brought up by Craig at every Wednesday morning meeting. and they have not been responsive. I agree, Craig.
It's not on site, it's down at Highland.
Yeah. And Joe, do you have anything you want to add?
No, I agree with everything Mary Ann said. I'm good to go.
Okay, excellent. Thank you. So other than paying the bills, does anybody have anything else they want to bring up?
Yeah, I'd like to bring something up, Jack. This morning we talked about the intersection with Green Drive and Rathmon-Roller Drive. So I went back and explained to the resident, she had concerns about parking, for those of you who weren't at the meeting this morning. Parking along Rathmon-Roller Drive, and when she looks left, she feels like there's she didn't have a clear line of sight looking left. So the next question she had, and I think I know the answer to this, but I told her I'd bring it up. The next question is, and I'm reading the text message, are there any plans to realign the street once the high school is done? It wasn't an issue until a few years ago when they relined the street and added a sidewalk up to Green Drive. It used to end a bit before the intersection. So I think it's pretty safe to say we don't have any plans to realign the street. Yeah, I didn't think so. Joe's nodding his head. But yeah, I didn't think so. Okay, I just wanted to make sure I had my facts right before I respond to her. I think that's all.
Yeah, I think I mean, in order to redo the street, we'd probably end up with eminent domain takings and a lot of other things that we haven't planned on. So
we are repaving the street and we are redoing the sidewalk at the end of phase 3, but we're not realigning Green Drive at all. No.
Okay. All right. I'm messaging her now, so thank you.
And to be clear, the parking included in the project would cover any parking that is currently happening on the street anyway, correct?
Well, what we were determining, we think this morning, is that some of the employees of the subcontractors, instead of parking at Highland, are parking on the street. And so Dave Gorman, the project superintendent, is that the correct term, Steve?
Yeah.
He is going to put a laborer out there tomorrow to remind them of where they're supposed to park. And if they do not follow the instructions, they will be told that they are not welcome to work on the job anymore. So that should get their hearts and minds to the right place.
Thank you.
You know, I can understand the people coming out of Green with all those cars parked there, you know, having some bad sight lines. And so we should make sure that to the extent we can control that we do. All right, then is there a motion to pay the bills, Jackie?
So moved.
Terry?
Second.
All right, Jeremy?
All right, to pay the bills, Dave,
Yes.
Jason,
Yes.
Jackie,
Yes.
Jerry,
Yes.
Kelly.
Yes.
Bill's not here. Terry,
Yes.
Scott,
Yes.
Ed,
Yes.
Mark,
Yes.
Rob,
Yes.
Andrew,
Yes.
Jack,
Yes.
and Mayor.
Yes.
All right.
Okay, unless anybody has anything else they want to bring up, we'll just note that our February meeting is the 10th of February. Our March meeting is the 10th of March. And we'll take a motion to adjourn at 6:12.
So moved.
Second.
Jeremy?
Dave,
Yes.
Jason,
Yes.
Jackie,
Yes.
Jerry,
Yes.
Kelly,
Yes.
Terry,
Yes.
Scott,
Yes.
Ed,
Yes.
Mark,
Yes.
Rob,
Yes.
Andrew,
Yes.
Jack,
Yes,
and Mayor.
Yes.
we are adjourned. Thank you, everyone.
Thanks, everyone.
Good night.
Thank you.
Good night.
Vehicle prices are freezing down below